can you accelerate your awakening? I've been helping people with their spiritual awakenings for many, many years. And one of the common questions I get asked is, what can I do to speed up this process? Now, initially, it may seem that there are things that you could do to deepen your understanding and get an awakening or become spiritually awakened quicker. For example, meditation, self-inquiry, and various other paths that are taught in spiritual circles. These are really all a concession to those that believe themselves to be separate. This all starts at the end, which is awakening. Spiritual awakening, by definition, is the understanding that you are not a separate self. You are not a separate entity. You are not a separate person. You are merely all that there is. And there has only ever been all that there is. And you are that. It's sometimes called consciousness with a capital C, or awareness with a capital A, or God, or spirit, or whatever you want to call it. But spiritual awakening means waking up from the dream that you're a separate individual. Once that occurs, and you could argue it doesn't even occur, because in order for something to occur, there must be an observer and an object and a change in circumstances between the two. But as we've said, the definition of awakening is that there is only oneness, non-duality. There is not two. There is not an individual and the universe. There is only all that there is, and you are that. So can anything occur to all that there is? Not really. But it's a concession given to those who have yet to awaken and yet to fully realize and fully understand that there may be actions that you can take. But at a deeper level, there is no doer. There are no actions. There's nobody here to be doing anything. We don't have free will because there are no individuals who could even act upon that free will. Now, of course, this then leads to the dead end where people say, oh, well, if there's no doer, then surely I just have to sit around playing on my Xbox or watching movies and I'll just awaken, I'll awaken that way. I don't have to do anything. But the point here is it's a concession. So the path of meditation, allowing everything to be as it is, focusing on the breath, or self-inquiry where you investigate the nature of the I am. What is that? Who is this I that's aware of things? These are steps that can be taken to the so-called person who still believes themselves to be a person. But again, at the deepest level, this is going to happen or not anyway. It is true nature unfolding to itself. It is reality becoming aware of reality, or awareness gaining awareness of awareness. And as such, there are no actions that could be taken because there are no individuals that could take those actions. And yet, if you are still sensing, or you still feel that sense of separation, that you have some agency in the world, that you still feel you are separate, even though intellectually you may understand that, yes, there's this global consciousness or global awareness and that you are that, and yet somehow you still call yourself by your name, you still feel separate, you still have mental suffering, psychological suffering, you're trying to, you have all these desires and all these things, you're still fighting the good fight as if you're an individual operating in the universe, then of course, regardless of what you've understood mentally, that realization and that awakening has not fully occurred yet. So to you in that position, there are seemingly things that you can seemingly do that may seemingly accelerate the process. And the idea is really just to get out of the way of reality. Now, the easiest way to describe this is to use a metaphor. During my awakening many, many years ago, I went through a very torrid time, many months on end, incapable of really moving or operating in the world. And what I thought is that I was surrendering. Right? And the metaphor I want to use for you is a river. If we take river, the flowing river is life or awareness or all that there is. The one reality, whatever you choose to call it, is this river in this metaphor. Now, during this awakening, I thought, well, what I was doing prior to the awakening is I was trying to swim upstream against all that there is, against life. I can shape this. I can change this. I need to go up there and work hard and get this thing, and that's going to give me this, and that's going to give me happiness. I need to fight off those people and attain this and win this and climb to the top of the mountain and swim upstream. So that was prior to awakening. Exhausting, fruitless exercise, close to drowning on a daily basis as the river's flowing against you. Then, during awakening, I thought, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. I don't need to try and swim upstream, swim upriver. I'm just going to surrender. But what I thought wrongly is surrendering is standing in the river like this. I'm surrendering. I'm doing nothing. But I wasn't doing nothing. I was standing in this river resisting what is. I wasn't swimming upstream, so it wasn't quite as bad as it used to be, but I was still stopping the flow of life and stopping the flow of all that there is. True surrender is when you realize you are the river and you go with the flow. And what that means is if you are called to meditate, then you meditate. If you're called not to meditate, you don't meditate. If you're called to read religious texts, do so. If you're called to watch spiritual videos on YouTube, then do so. But be honest and truthful with yourself. It doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter what anybody says. It only matters what you have experienced and what you know beyond the mind. And if that doesn't make sense to you yet, it will, because you know things deeper than the mind. You feel them even beyond a cellular level. Like it can't be explained. The mind cannot grasp this because it is in a realm that is beyond the mind. Remember, thoughts occur and you are aware of them. You are not your thoughts. You are not the mind. This thing that is listening and aware of my words right now is the same thing that is speaking these words. I am speaking to myself. You awareness are listening to you awareness. So this is something which is already here, which is another reason why there is really no action to take. And while some spiritual teachers offer a path where you renounce your past, you try and cleanse your chakras and try and clear any conditioning that you've had, the direct path simply says, are you aware right now? Are you aware? Yes, I'm aware. Are you aware of the fact you are being aware? Yes, I am. Welcome. Here it is. That's the direct path. It needs no action. It needs no discipline. But it needs an honest, truthful investigation, understanding, and acceptance. So saying, oh, well, there's no doer, and therefore, this is going to unfold at whatever speed it unfolds at, and therefore I don't need to do anything. But if you still feel like you're a separate person, to you, there is still action to be taken. And you know at a deeper level if you're being called to take that action. So don't fight with reality. Don't try and swim upstream. Don't stop and try and stop the flow of the river. Realize you are the river and go with that flow. And then you'll see there's never been an individual you at all. And there were never any actions being taken by anyone. But until that time, follow what you are being drawn to.